In a world that never stops talking, you have been trained to believe that noise equals power. Social media tells you to speak louder, to prove yourself, to constantly post, react, and compete. But Master Shi Heng Yi's teaching cuts through the noise like a blade. Silence is not emptiness, silence is full of answers. Imagine for a moment that instead of chasing attention, you became the calm center of the storm. You stop explaining. You stop defending. You stop reacting. And suddenly you begin to notice something powerful. Your energy starts to return to you. People lean in to hear you. Opportunities gravitate toward you. Even your mind becomes clearer. This video is not about running away from the world. It's about learning a Shaolin-level skill, self-control through silence, so that the world starts to move with you instead of against you. Stay until the end, because once you understand this, nothing about your relationships, your work, or your inner peace will ever be the same again. Most people think strength is about volume. They believe the louder you speak, the more you dominate. But in reality, true power begins with the pause between your emotions and your reaction, the pause between what you feel and what you say. This is where self-mastery lives. Master Shi Heng Yi often teaches his students that silence is not weakness, silence is training. In Shaolin practice, monks spend hours moving slowly, breathing deeply, and saying nothing. They aren't just learning martial arts moves. They're learning to master their impulses. When you stop reacting instantly, you create space, and in that space, you find freedom. Think about your own life. How many times have you regretted words you spoke in anger, a post you made in frustration, a decision you rushed into? Those mistakes didn't happen because you were weak. They happened because you didn't give yourself a pause. Silence gives you that pause. It's a shield that protects you from your own impulses and from the noise of the world. The moment you start practicing silence, you notice something strange. You become calmer. Your energy stops leaking into arguments, gossip, and endless explanations. You start hearing your own thoughts more clearly. People around you also begin to sense something different. They lean closer. They wait for your words. They respect your presence. That's because you're no longer part of the noise. You've become the signal. This doesn't mean you suppress your voice or disappear. It means you choose your words with precision. You speak when it matters. You act when it's necessary. And because your actions and words are fewer, they become more powerful. This is why the most confident people you meet rarely rush to speak. Their quietness is not shyness, it's control. Start small. The next time you're in a conversation, listen more than you speak. When you're provoked, count to 10 before replying. When you feel like posting your every thought, hold back and observe. These are tiny acts of silence, but each one builds your inner strength. Over time, this practice creates a new version of you, a person who doesn't need to shout to be heard, who doesn't need to chase to attract. Your silence becomes a magnet. Opportunities, respect, even peace begin to move toward you naturally. This is the first step in mastering the art of silence, realizing that it's not about disappearing from the world, but about showing up with so much self-control that the world has to stop and listen. Most of us wake up and immediately give away our energy without even realizing it. We pick up our phones, scroll, react, argue, explain. By noon, our mind is exhausted and we wonder why we feel empty. Master Shi Heng Yi explains that every word, every reaction is an exchange of energy. The more you scatter it, the weaker you feel. The more you hold it, the stronger you become. Silence is the first shield. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you save enormous amounts of mental power. When you stop reacting to every comment, you protect your emotions. This is why Shaolin monks train to observe without responding. They're not cold. They're conserving energy so that when they move, it's decisive and powerful. Think about your own life. How often do you find yourself defending your choices, your dreams, your lifestyle to people who will never understand? Every time you argue, you lose energy. Every time you overshare, you dilute your focus. But when you stay silent, you stop leaking power. That power then returns to you as clarity, confidence, and calm. Silence also protects you from manipulation. People who want to control you thrive on your reactions. They poke, provoke, and wait for you to explode. When you don't react, you break their grip. You stay in your own center. In that center, you see more clearly who is genuine and who is not. You begin to act from choice, not from impulse. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself or never speak. It means you become intentional. You choose when to speak, what to reveal, and what to keep sacred. This is how you build what Master Shi Heng Yi calls an energy fortress. The walls are made of your discipline. The doors open only for what truly deserves your time and attention. A simple exercise: before answering a message, take 3 breaths. Before entering a discussion, ask yourself if it's worth your energy. Before sharing a dream, decide whether the listener will support it or sabotage it. These micro pauses are how you protect your power. When you practice this daily, you'll notice a quiet transformation. You no longer feel drained by people or situations. You no longer feel scattered or weak. You feel centered, grounded, and alive. Opportunities start to come to you because your energy is no longer diffused, it's focused. And focused energy is irresistible. This is the deeper meaning behind stay silent and everything will come naturally. Conserve your power so that life itself begins to move in your favor. Silence is not emptiness, it is a space where all things can grow. Most people fear silence because they equate it with loneliness or weakness. But in reality, silence is the birthplace of clarity and strength. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches that when the mouth closes, the inner ear opens. You begin to hear what life, your body, and your own intuition have been whispering all along. When you are always talking, explaining, debating, your mind becomes like a crowded marketplace, loud, chaotic, and full of distractions. In such a place, you cannot see clearly. But when you choose silence, it is like stepping into a still mountain lake. The surface becomes calm. You can finally see what lies beneath. This is when the deepest insights about yourself, your path, and your decisions arise. In practical life, silence helps you observe without bias. You start to notice patterns, how people treat you, where your energy rises or falls, which habits strengthen you and which ones drain you. You begin to read between the lines. This is the same skill monks cultivate when meditating or practicing martial arts. Their power is not only physical, it is perceptual. They can see because they have learned to be still. Silence also allows wisdom to enter. Ideas, solutions, and opportunities often come not when you're forcing them, but when you're quiet. The mind relaxes, the heart softens, and intuition speaks. That's why many breakthroughs happen in solitude, during a walk, a shower, or a quiet evening, not in the noise of debate. To practice this, set aside short periods of intentional silence each day. No phone, no talking, no music. Just sit, walk, or breathe. Let the thoughts come and go without reacting. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but soon it becomes a sanctuary. This practice trains you to pause before you speak, to respond instead of react, to move with precision instead of impulse. As your clarity grows, your actions become more powerful. You don't waste time on what doesn't matter. You don't chase validation or approval. You know what you want and you move towards it quietly but steadily. People will notice your change. They may even feel unsettled because they can no longer predict or manipulate you. That is the silent power you're building. Ultimately, stay silent and everything will come naturally, means giving yourself the gift of space. Space to think, to feel, to see, to hear. In that space, life's signals become clear. Your next step becomes obvious. And when you move from clarity, the results come without struggle. This is the invisible advantage of silence. It positions you to act at the right time, in the right way, with unstoppable force. Most people confuse noise with power. They believe that the louder they speak, the more influence they have, the faster they move, the more progress they make. But true masters know that the opposite is often true. In silence and stillness, you discover a deeper kind of strength, a strength that does not need to prove itself. When you stay silent, you are not weak, you are gathering power. Think of a bow being drawn back before releasing an arrow. The pause is not inactivity, it is stored energy. Every moment you spend in quiet reflection, you are drawing the bow of your own life. When the right moment comes, your action will be precise, direct, and unstoppable. Stillness also protects you from unnecessary conflict. Many arguments are not worth fighting. They drain your energy, damage your focus, and tie you to situations that do not serve you. By remaining silent, you step outside the chaos. You choose not to react to every provocation. This does not mean you accept disrespect. It means you refuse to be pulled into someone else's drama. This discipline is one of the hallmarks of inner power. In practical terms, stillness gives you time. Time to observe before responding, time to listen for what is really being said beneath the words, time to let the emotions settle so you can make decisions from clarity, not impulse. It is in these pauses that your greatest wisdom appears, and once you have learned to trust these pauses, you no longer fear them. Silence and stillness also build resilience. Life will test you with noise, urgency, and distraction. If you can remain steady when others panic, you become the calm in the storm. People will be drawn to your presence because it feels safe and grounded. Opportunities will open because your energy signals confidence instead of desperation. You can train this quality the same way a monk trains his body. Begin with small practices, 1 minute of stillness before you speak, 5 minutes of silent walking each day, sitting quietly before you enter an important meeting or conversation. Over time, these small disciplines reshape your nervous system. Your mind becomes less reactive, your heart more stable, your spirit stronger. You stop chasing and start attracting. The paradox is this: the quieter you become, the more clearly people hear you. Your words, when you choose to speak, carry more weight. Your actions, when you decide to act, create more impact. This is the hidden strength that Master Shi Heng Yi calls moving without moving, achieving more by doing less, but with full presence. To stay silent and everything will come naturally is to recognize that stillness is not the absence of life, it is the foundation of a powerful life. When you cultivate this inner stillness, you are no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You become like the mountain, silent, unmoving, yet shaping the landscape around it. There's a reason great leaders, monks, and wise elders often speak little. Their silence creates a mysterious pull. People lean in. They want to hear every word because it's clear that the words are not thrown away carelessly. This is the hidden magnetic force of silence. When you are always talking, you scatter your energy. You reveal your plans before they are strong enough to stand. You give away your emotions before you have processed them. But when you learn to hold your thoughts, your power begins to accumulate. Like water behind a dam, it builds pressure and potential. Then, when you finally speak or act, it has real force behind it. Silence also makes people reveal themselves. When you stop rushing to fill the space, you create a vacuum. In that space, others' true intentions, desires, and fears begin to surface. You start to see who is honest, who is manipulative, who is aligned with you, and who is not. This kind of insight is impossible if you're constantly distracted by your own noise. Another gift of silence is clarity. It's very easy to confuse the noise of the world with your own inner voice. Social media, news, friends, and family are always telling you what to think, who to be, what to want. But when you deliberately become silent, all of that fades for a moment. What's left is you, your intuition, your deeper knowing, the quiet compass of your soul. From this space, you can make decisions that truly belong to you, not to someone else's agenda. Silence also strengthens your self-respect. Every time you hold back from explaining yourself, defending yourself unnecessarily, or seeking approval, you remind your nervous system, I am enough. This unspoken confidence changes the way you carry yourself. People sense it, they respond differently. Some will respect you more, some may feel intimidated, but either way, your energy stops begging and starts commanding. Practically, you can start with simple exercises. Listen twice as much as you speak in your next conversation. Pause for 3 slow breaths before answering a difficult question. Spend one evening a week without any digital noise, no phone, no TV, just yourself. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but soon it feels like freedom. This is how you reclaim your inner space in a world that's always trying to invade it. Silence doesn't mean inaction or weakness. It's a choice. It's a skill. It's a way of stepping out of the game everyone else is playing, so you can design your own game. When you stay silent, you're not ignoring life, you're listening to it. And as you listen, you start to see patterns, opportunities, and solutions that everyone else is too distracted to notice. The more you practice this, the more magnetic you become. Without saying a word, you begin to influence the room, shift the energy, and draw in the right people and opportunities. This is the power of staying silent. It makes life come to you. Silence is not just about withholding words. It is about creating a state where action becomes sharper, cleaner, and more effective. In the Shaolin tradition, Master Shi Heng Yi explains that a monk's silence is not emptiness, it is preparation. Every quiet hour, every breath taken in mindfulness is a rehearsal for precise action. In the same way, when you stop scattering your energy in endless explanations, gossip, and arguments, you begin to conserve it for decisive moves. Silent action means doing the work without announcing it. It is waking up early to train, to study, to plan, without telling everyone what you're doing. It is building your strength quietly, so when you finally emerge, the results speak louder than any promise or speech. This is how great fighters train, how great thinkers create, how great leaders rise in the space that nobody sees, in the silence that nobody notices. When you practice silent action, you also stop feeding other people's doubts and fears. Every time you announce a dream or a plan, you open a door for someone to project their negativity onto it. Without even meaning to, they plant seeds of doubt. By keeping quiet, you give your goals a safe space to grow until they are strong enough to withstand outside pressure. Silence in this way is like a shield around your future. Another advantage of silent action is that it reduces resistance inside yourself. When you talk about what you will do, your brain releases a small dose of satisfaction, almost as if you've already done it. This can drain your motivation, but if you stay silent, your drive remains intact. You feel the tension, the hunger, the urgency to complete what you've started. That tension becomes your engine. Silence also teaches you humility. When you are not constantly talking about your work, your growth, your struggles, you begin to see how small you are compared to the vastness of life. And paradoxically, this humility makes you stronger. It keeps your ego from making rash moves. It allows you to learn, adapt, and adjust without losing face. Most importantly, silent action aligns you with a deeper flow. The more you listen, the more you sense when to move and when to wait. You begin to act at the right time, with the right energy, instead of forcing things out of impatience. Life itself starts to cooperate with you because you are no longer fighting its rhythm. This is the final lesson of silence. It is not passive. It is power held in reserve, waiting for the perfect moment to express itself. When you live like this, you stop chasing. You stop proving, you start becoming. And then everything, opportunities, relationships, peace, begins to come naturally because your silence has prepared the ground for your actions to flourish. If you've made it this far, you already feel it, the calm, the clarity, the power of staying silent. Remember, silence is not weakness, it is preparation. The more you listen, the more you grow. And the more life begins to move toward you. If this message has opened something inside you, support this channel. Like the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and share it with someone who needs this energy today. And don't forget to subscribe, because together we are building a space of real discipline, wisdom, and inner strength.